Okay.
Will you count me in like Wayne's World?
5, 4, 3.
Sorry, that made me laugh. Okay, no, that's good. That was great. That's great. Okay. Hi. And welcome to Wine Pairing During the Apocalypse. I'm Nadine Netman. I am the author of the award-nominated Sommelier Mystery Series. I am a certified sommelier through the Court of Master Sommeliers. I am the editorial director of Somm TV, and I also story produce and produce several of their shows. So here we are, we're in the apocalypse. And what do you do during the apocalypse? You drink and you wear funny socks. So, what do you drink during the apocalypse besides whatever you want? Well, I was thinking, I've seen a lot of people doing a lot of fun meals at home, and I'm like, well, let's pair wine with those. So first off, I've seen a lot of you baking bread, and some of you for the very first time, and this is awesome that you're doing this. But what pairs with bread? So for me, I love having like a glass of Pinot Grigio with bread, especially like if the bread is like nice and warm and toasty from the oven, and you've got that glass of white wine that's very nice and crispy and cold from the fridge. Also, if you like red wine, try a glass of Pinot Noir with your bread. Toast to what you've just made and created out of the oven and made from scratch. Another thing I've seen a lot of people baking these days is banana bread. Never thought the apocalypse would have so many bananas, but here we are. So what do you pair with banana bread? Personally, I think it's great to have a glass of Chardonnay with banana bread. There's that nice buttery feel to the wine to go with your banana bread, but also it's really great to have a sweet wine. Maybe you have an ice wine from your trip to Niagara that you've been saving, or a bottle of port, or Sauterne, or maybe some sherry that you cook with. No, don't do the cooking one. Do a nicer sherry. But that's kind of fun to have with banana bread. I've seen a lot of pastas on the internet. People are turning to pasta, and I'm one of them. It's a comfort food, and I love it. So what do you pair with pasta? Well, pasta comes from Italy, and so does Chianti. So Chianti is a great thing to pair with pasta. It also is made from Sangiovese grapes. So if you can't find a Chianti, but you find something made from Sangiovese, get that. Also, Zinfandel, another great one to go with a red sauce pasta, as well as one of those Rhone blends. So those are great for the red sauce pastas. But what if you want something a little different? What if you're doing a pesto pasta? I recommend a Sauvignon Blanc because it has a nice green herbal quality to it, and so does pesto. So those do a really nice pairing together. But the biggest pasta I've seen on the internet that everyone seems to be making right now during the apocalypse is macaroni and cheese. And who can blame them? Cheese, pasta, comfort food just feels like a warm hug. So what do you pair with macaroni and cheese? You want to pair that cheesy goodness with something that's crisp and has high acidity. I recommend a cold glass of Pinot Grigio or a cold glass of Sauvignon Blanc. Another option for macaroni and cheese is a glass of Chardonnay. A lot of Chardonnays have oak, especially in California, and so they have a buttery taste to them. And, well, butter goes with butter, so it's a great one to pair with your macaroni and cheese. If you prefer red wine but still want that mac and cheese, try a Pinot Noir. Pinot Noir pairs really well with most foods, so when in doubt, go Pinot Noir. And if some of you are turning to ramen these days, I would go for sparkling wine. The acidity of the sparkling wine goes really great with the ramen and is just a delightful pairing. Another dish I've seen a lot of on the internet that people are making these past few weeks are Tater Tot casseroles. I've also heard them called a Tater Tot hot dish or just hot dish. I've seen a lot of these, so what would you pair with it? I think, again, a glass of Chardonnay is great because the butteriness will go with it, but I also want to recommend a sparkling wine just to add a little bit of acid and also just that bubbly fun. If you're not into cooking much these days, but happen to fall back on old favorites like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, I would recommend going for a sparkling rosé because the fruit in the rosé goes really well with the jelly and the peanut butter. And now it comes down to glassware. This is the apocalypse. Drink out of what you want to drink out of. If you're quarantined somewhere with wine glasses, great. Or maybe a champagne flute. Maybe you inherited it, maybe someone gave it to you. but champagne flutes are always fun. And maybe now's the time to break out grandmother's china. You've never used it before, but honestly, what are you waiting for? Or if all you have is a paper cup, no judging, just enjoy. And because this is the apocalypse, I'm all for champagne. What's that famous saying? In victory, I've earned it. In defeat, I need it. And in the apocalypse, I should have it. So open up that special bottle you've been saving, because if you were saving it for a special day, that day is today. Or maybe you have a bottle that a friend brought over to your house back when we were allowed to have people over. Now's the time. Open it up, pour a glass, and toast to some friends on Zoom, because you know what? This is the apocalypse. But I have some important advice for you before you open that bottle. The last thing you want to do these days is end up in the ER. So if you ever open champagne and you've taken the cage off before you took the cork off, don't do that now. Those corks can fly out of the bottle at any time, and you don't want to hit yourself or hit maybe the person you're quarantined with and end up in the ER with an injury. Leave the cage on the cork. And my big takeaway for you on this is to drink what you want to drink. Don't let anyone tell you what you should be drinking or shouldn't be drinking or try to shame you for liking a certain wine. This is the apocalypse. It doesn't matter. And you know what? Even if it wasn't the apocalypse, drink what you want to drink. Drink what you like, drink what you enjoy. End of story. So thanks for tuning in. Support your local restaurants, your local wine shops, and your local bookstores. And cheers.